We've got an interesting rumor about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom as Scooper claims that Warner Brothers isn't actually promoting it because they know it's bad, they know it'll lose money, so they're trying to cut their marketing costs because they know the film's going to suck anyways. Really interesting rumor here. It's coming from Scooper KC Walsh, who responded to another X user who was like, Aquaman 2 is coming out in 3 months and still no trailer. Why is no one panicking? Casey Walsh replied, because they know it's bad, they know it'll lose money, and they aren't putting a marketing budget behind it at all. This is absolutely hilarious given the fact that pretty much every single film that has come out since James Gunn announced his DC slate has done absolutely abysmally at the box office. You've got the Shazam! Fury of the Gods only doing 132 million. I think The Flash did like 267 million globally, and then Blue Beetle I think is just over 100 million right now. So that's at the low end of what the director said was the production budget for the film. So clearly not making any money, losing money for them. So it's kind of hilarious that we're not, that this is the rumor going around now that they are not putting money behind it because they think it's going to lose money. And well, that is the pattern, right, that we're seeing. But what's also interesting is this latest rumor comes after a report from The Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt, who claimed that the film underwent its third set of reshoots since it finished principal photography in January 2022. The previous two reshoots took place between the summer of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, and were done due to the film receiving uninspiring test screenings. Kitt detailed an insider informed him that this third set of reshoots was being undertaken due to the issue of story clarity. The idea that the test screenings for the film were uninspiring was previously reported by Scooper's Viewer Anand, Big Screen Leaks, and Jeff Snyder back in February. Viewer Anand claimed in a now deleted tweet, I'll be honest, we're half a dozen test screening in and it's not looking great. I've consistently heard over the last half year or so that it's boring, not as good as the first, and potentially one of the worst DCEU movies. Big Screen Leaks would seemingly corroborate this, writing, there's a reason I've been avoiding any questions about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, but since Viewer Anand put it out there, it brings me no joy to back him up and tell you that the test screenings for this film have not been good. Really hoping Juan fixes this movie before December. He added, I heard that something that almost never happened in test screenings happened with this movie. They're really going to need to fix this one and fix it fast. Jeff Snyder then chimed in saying, I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going to be Lobo going forward. But they can't say that yet because then it would be a lame duck. And DC is hoping to wring another billion out of the box office. First one was awful too, so not a huge surprise. I actually 100% agree with Jeff Snyder. The Aquaman movie was absolutely terrible. I have absolutely no idea how it did a billion at the box office. It truly boggles my mind. The only explanation is that a lot of women went to see it because they wanted to see a topless Jason Momoa. But that's pretty much it because everything else was terrible, and I hate the Aquaman characterization that Zack Snyder gave him. It's just I can't stand it. I can't stand the bro Aquaman. Aside from that, though, let's continue here because we do have this problem of story clarity that The Hollywood Reporter reported. James Wan seemed to confirm that in a previous interview with The Hollywood Reporter, where he revealed he, quote, had to make adjustments all along the way in order to adapt to the various visions for DC with the constant changing of leadership. He added that DCU has been through lots of different visions, and one of the things that was challenging about this film was keeping track of what's going on. So that seems to say, yes, we are having problems with story clarity because I have no idea what these people want me to do. While he admitted he was seemingly constantly making changes to the movie because of the changes in direction at Warner Brothers, he also claimed that the Aquaman movies were detached from the DCEU, so those changes weren't really that big of a problem. So that's a little bit of a contradiction there. I didn't really get this, but this is what he said. Fortunately, the Aquaman universe is pretty far removed from the rest of the world. We're going to many different underwater kingdoms that are not necessarily related to what's happening with the other movies and characters, so we're standalone in that respect. So I can just tell my story on its own without being affected too much, but at the same time, I have to be mindful of what's been happening. Like, well, which is it? Do you have to be mindful of what's happening, or is your movie completely detached and standalone? It seems like you're trying to tell two different stories here, but in the end, I think this last comment here, he says, I have to be mindful of what's happening. I think that's truly the truth right there. You're really not that much standalone. It is seemingly connected to things that were going on, and there's obviously lots of different visions and people trying to impose that vision from them. And we know all about this with the Whedon stuff, with Justice League, the air cut, and all that stuff. I mean, this has been like so many people have talked about this. And then, as I said here, you can look at the box office grosses right here. I kind of covered this a little bit earlier, But so it wouldn't surprise me, looking at the kind of trend that these recent films have been going, that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom would continue on that trajectory. It would continue downward, and downward being 6 feet under. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think of this rumor. Why do you think we haven't seen an Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer, even though the movie is supposed to come out in just a few months?
Subscribe for more.